They hurt you, and they knew exactly what they were doing. They saw your love, and they chose to play with it anyway. They watched you wait. They watched you wonder. They watched you shrink yourself just to fit into the small space they were willing to offer. And still you stayed. Still you loved. Still you gave. Because that is who you are. You are someone who loves with their whole chest. Someone who doesn't know how to give half of themselves. Someone who meant every single word they ever said. And they knew that. They knew you were real. They knew you were rare. And they treated you like you were replaceable. But here is what they never told you. Here is what they never expected. The moment you finally walked away, something happened inside them. Something quiet, something deep, something they have no name for yet. A feeling that arrived without warning and has not left since. If someone played with your heart and you are still carrying that weight, stay with me until the very end. Because what they are living with right now is not what they planned for. And this story belongs to you. You never loved strategically. You never calculated how much to give or decided to hold something back just in case. When you love this person, you love them the way rain loves the ground. Completely, without asking if it will be received. You remembered the things they mentioned once in passing. You showed up on the days they didn't even ask you to. You held space for their storms and never made them feel like too much. And while you were doing all of that, while your heart was fully open and fully present, they were somewhere else, not physically, but emotionally. They were enjoying what you offered without ever intending to honor it. You were planting a garden. They were just passing through, and slowly, so slowly you almost didn't notice, you began to adjust yourself. You got quieter about your needs. You convinced yourself you were asking for too much. You made excuses for behavior that deserved no excuse at all, because loving deeply sometimes means tolerating what you never should have. But something was building inside you. Quiet strength you didn't yet recognize. And the day it finally surfaced would change everything. Part 2 begins the moment your love went silent, and what that silence did to them. You didn't make an announcement. You didn't send a final message full of everything you should have said. You simply got still. And that stillness, as quiet as it was the loudest thing they had ever heard. At first they didn't notice. Life moved forward. Distractions filled the space. They told themselves you were too sensitive, too emotional, too attached to something that was never meant to be permanent. It was easier to believe that. It kept them comfortable. But then the small moments came. They reached for their phone and there was nothing from you. No gentle message. No soft check-in. No warmth waiting for them like it always had been. And the silence felt different. Not angry, not dramatic. Just gone and gone. When it belongs to someone who truly loved you, has a weight that nothing in this world can prepare you for. They started remembering, not loudly, not all at once, but in the small cracks of ordinary days. How safe your love felt. How you listened like what they said actually mattered. How you stayed when leaving would have been so much easier. And now there was nothing like that anywhere. That realization moved in slowly, and once it arrived, it never left. Part 3 reveals the feeling that began following them. The one they cannot outrun, no matter how far they go. It started small, a passing thought. A moment of stillness that lasted a little too long. But it grew. The way quiet things grow when you refuse to look at them. It showed up when something good happened, and their first instinct was to reach for you. Then they remembered they no longer had that. It showed up when they tried to connect with someone new and felt the difference immediately. The conversation felt thin. The laughter felt borrowed. The warmth felt like a performance, and somewhere beneath all of it, a truth was pressing upward. You loved them without games, without conditions, without a single moment of cruelty. And they answered that love with confusion and distance and a kind of carelessness that had no excuse. That truth doesn't arrive like a storm. It arrives like winter, slowly, thoroughly, settling into every corner until everything feels colder than it used to. They can distract themselves during the day, but at night when everything quiets, it is there, a whisper that knows their name. You lost something that was real, and you chose to lose it. Part 4 carries the heaviest weight of all, and it is the part they will carry the longest. This is where it settles deepest, not in the dramatic moments, not in the obvious ones, but in the quiet, unremarkable moments of an ordinary day. They'll sit with friends and laugh and still feel it. Underneath, they'll scroll through their phone at midnight and still feel it. They'll have a good day and still feel it, like a stone in the pocket of every moment. Because the truth has fully arrived now. You were not dramatic. You were not difficult. You were not too much. You were consistent. You were steady. You were the kind of person who showed up the same way every time, in every season, without needing applause for it. And that kind of love, once it is gone, leaves a shape behind, an outline, a space that everything else is quietly measured against. If this video is sitting with you right now, if something in these words is touching a place you've been quietly protecting, you are not alone in what you carried. Subscribe, because every week, this space is built for people like you. People who loved fully and are learning what they deserve because of it. Part 5 holds the truth about what they can never recover, no matter how much time passes. Here is what they are beginning to understand. It was never just your presence they lost. It was access. Access to your softness. Access to your patience. Access to the version of you that loved without walls, without conditions, without the quiet armor you have since, and rightly, built around yourself. They assumed your love was a door that would stay open, that if they ever decided to return, you would be there, warm and waiting, just as they left you. But that is not how a heart like yours works. Once you reach the place of clarity, once you see the pattern for what it truly was, you don't return the same. You return different, and different means whole. They may reach out one day, a casual message, a soft "I've been thinking about you" dressed up as something innocent. And what they will find is not the person they left. They will find someone who is kind but no longer open, warm but no longer waiting, present but no longer theirs. And that shift will land in them like confirmation. They didn't just lose your attention. They lost the version of you that would have stayed through anything. That version is not coming back, and somewhere deep inside, they already know it. Part 6 reveals why this feeling grows stronger with every day that passes, never quieter. People expect time to be merciful to the one who caused the harm. They expect the feeling to soften, the memory to blur, the discomfort to eventually dissolve into something manageable. But that is not what happens when the love that was lost was genuine, because time doesn't erase this. Time adds to it. Every new connection that feels hollow, every conversation that stays on the surface, every moment they search for something real and come up empty, each one becomes a quiet reminder, a gentle and relentless confirmation of what they already know. What you offered was not ordinary. What you gave them was not something that simply comes around again with a little patience and time. It was rare. It was built from something in you that most people never find in another person. And they held it carelessly. That realization doesn't fade with time. It sharpens, like a stone that the water keeps smoothing, not removing. And the sharpest version of that truth is waiting in Part 7. The moment they have to face exactly what they chose. Let's say this clearly and without cruelty. They didn't leave for something better. They left for something easier. They chose the comfort of keeping you uncertain over the vulnerability of loving you fully. They chose the temporary feeling of control over the lasting warmth of something real. They chose the game because the game felt safe. Because real love requires showing up, requires being seen, requires the kind of courage they weren't ready for. And now they are living inside that choice, not visibly, not in a way the world can see, but privately, in the honest moments that belong only to them. They understand what they traded. They traded your consistency for confusion, your warmth for distance, your rare and patient love for the illusion of freedom. And freedom without meaning is just emptiness with a prettier name. Meanwhile, you grew. The pain they handed you became the boundaries you now hold with both hands. The confusion they created became the clarity you carry like a lantern. You did not become bitter. You became wise, and the most quietly devastating thing they will ever realize is that you didn't harden. You just finally learned who deserved your softness. Part 8 is where your story continues, and where theirs quietly ends. This is where we arrive together. They are somewhere carrying a feeling they cannot fully explain, a heaviness that shows up without warning, a quiet awareness that follows them into rooms and lingers long after they leave. And you are somewhere else entirely, not without scars, not without the memory of what it cost you to love someone who wasn't ready to receive it, but free from the exhausting work of loving someone halfway, free from translating silence into hope, free from making yourself smaller so they could feel bigger. You are not who you were when this began. That version of you loved without evidence that it was safe to do so, gave without asking if giving would be honored, stayed long past the moment wisdom would have said to go. And while none of that was fair, look at what it built in you. You know your worth now, not as a thought, as a bone deep, lived, unshakable knowing. You are no longer available for love that keeps you guessing. You are no longer moved by warmth that only appears when it is convenient. You are the person who loved fully, and you will love fully again, but only someone who knows exactly what that means and never takes it for granted. If this reached something inside you, comment, "I chose myself," below. Subscribe for more. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, because the most powerful ending to their story is simply this: you stopped waiting, and you never looked back.